Lambert.
There's just one more achievement left to get in this area, and that's the Shell Shock achievement, and it turned out to be one of the hardest achievements in the game.
We need to get like a bit closer to them or something. Come on. Come on.
Уродисперсні таблетки розчиняються прямо в роті. Ерідес розчиняє алергію без води.
7 Days ховає секрет. Це смачне кремове какао-серце. 7 Days. Скуштуйте самі.
It's the summer of 2000. A young Capcom game director named Shu Takumi is approached with an opportunity to produce his very own video game. And upon hearing those words, Takumi knew exactly what he wanted to create. You see, ever since he was a kid, he was fascinated by the mystery genre, from Sherlock Holmes to Lupin III. And now, the self-proclaimed big mystery nerd could finally create the mystery game of his dreams. But he also wanted to create something new, a spin to a genre of classic detective mystery adventures like Sherlock or Lupin. And over the next 10 months with a small team of 7, they've labored away at making that game a reality. A simple murder mystery adventure title of solving puzzles and confronting witnesses and their lies. And who better to lead the helm for the future detective mystery than a lawyer? In 2001, the game would be finally released for the Game Boy Advance. Little to his knowledge, Takumi's game would soon become a cultural icon in gaming history. That game, of course, being And currently, 2 decades and 11 games later, Ace Attorney remains as prevalent as ever. A beloved series that will influence many other things from Danganronpa to a freaking Pixar movie. But it's fascinating to me because despite how popular the series is, the games themselves don't reflect that success. I mean, yeah, there's psychos like myself, but Ace Attorney isn't really your Street Fighters or Resident Evils. Yet, everyone still knows what Ace Attorney is. We know who Phoenix Wright and Miles Edgeworth are. We know all the music and the sounds, and we can't forget them. Not to mention how abundant this series is as a whole. Fan art, animations, cultural references. Phoenix Wright versus Saul Goodman. Game theory literally uses every single asset Ace Attorney has, yet still can't make a better theory video for them. The point is, the series has almost transcended the games themselves and transformed into this cultural icon. But that's the magic of Ace Attorney. Takumi may not have predicted how big these games would have gotten, but he made damn sure he would make them timeless. He wanted a game that would last, and one so simple that, quote, even his non-gamer mother could pick it up and play it. But with a team of just 7 people with limited technology and a restrictive video game genre, the game couldn't just be simple. In order to fulfill all Takumi's ambitions, they had to be smart with their simplicity. The visual novel style is infamous for how simple it is. I mean, the name says it for itself. It's just a novel with pictures to it. Sure, there's a lot of variety to them, but it's a genre that's easily perceived to just be a couple PNGs plastered on top of some JPEGs. Maybe if you're lucky, you could gamble your life savings away for those PNGs. And while visual novels have significantly evolved over the past several years, at the time of production, they were merely basic, often erotic text simulators. But Ace Attorney was different, mostly because their utilization of the visual aspect of the novels. In fact, the style of Ace Attorney is probably the biggest contributor to the series' success, perfectly portraying the whimsical nature of the series. And that's a lot to do with the work of Takumi and lead graphical artists Tatsuro Iwamoto and Kamiko Suekuni. Takumi was on record as wanting to leave an impression on players just from a single glance. And one of the most notable examples being Takumi's adamancy to make Phoenix and Edward stand out, giving each a recognizable silhouette and color palette, something they would also use to portray their contrasting roles and personalities. Attention to detail has only made him have the most famous silhouette and color scheme in gaming history. I mean, the finger point is practically synonymous with Ace Attorney, just from how iconic the pose was.
And to the point.
And this is a constant among all of these characters. These simple designs that are uniquely vibrant in their own way. Maya's bubbly nature to Mia's warm yet stoic demeanor, or Franziska's impulsive and arrogant attitude to Mio's mysterious and intimidating presence. And yes, even the nut jobs are designed accordingly. But they take these designs a step forward with their mastery of dynamicism and exaggeration. New Frame Plus already made an excellent video breaking down this point in their animation Ace Attorney video, so I'll keep this brief. But the way they illustrate all of their sprites is simply immaculate. They have these expressive emotions and striking poses that say a lot about the characters, as well as their personalities and emotions. These sprites are visually stunning with how animated they seem, even from a static pose. And the best part is that implied emotion from these poses allows them to keep cartridge space to a minimum while maximizing the charm of these characters. But the layers of this Ace Attorney onion keep going deeper, as the animation of Ace Attorney follows the same principle. A concept known as limited animation, something New Frame Plus also broke down in the video. You see, despite the aforementioned implied emotion, these sprites actually have some animation to them, though they're only limited to being a couple frames long. It can be a complex movement, or the mouth talking, or just the eyes blinking. It ain't much, but it makes a hell of a difference.
Just
It further exemplifies these already dynamic sprites, guiding our attention towards the most important aspects, and thus allows the body language to do the talking, once again showcasing these characters' differing personas and emotions. And these motions are the final link that really makes these characters feel alive. They're not just some picture or PNG anymore, but rather an actual moving, breathing person. All accomplished just from adding an extra 2 or 3 frames. And that's what I find so impressive about this limited style. Who needs your 60 or 120 frames per second when we can literally just use 2 and our brains fill in the rest? It's a fascinating demonstration of the versatility of animation and how so much can be accomplished from so little. And because of all of this, the simplicity of the visuals become the strength of the story itself. A lot of visual novels have ironically been very lackluster in terms of visual storytelling. The cycling of the same assets over and over again can quickly become very repetitive. However, the overall simplicity also means that even the smallest of changes feel groundbreaking in comparison, again accomplishing more with less. And even besides the sprites themselves, Ace Attorney still has many tools at their disposal which they use to their fullest extent. Color shifting text highlighting important statements and evidence, screen shakes emphasizing dialogue or simulating the feeling of being punched, grayscaling isolating and tensing moments up. So many elements mixed together to accomplish what is often difficult within the genre. Show, not tell. Visuals are made to support the narrative by supplying what words cannot. We see how these characters transform more and more under pressure to the point of even breaking and revealing a new side to them. And it makes a testimony versus someone like Red White feel more like a Street Fighter boss than anything else. Just with some nerd shit like reading and evidence. Ugh. And as said before, it only takes a small change to make a big impact. Entire moments are defined just from those subtle changes. It's most famous with the iconic breakdowns, but can range from a unique sprite to just adding an extra couple in-betweens. One of the most emotional moments from the games is literally just them adding red pixels onto a sprite. And of course, I can't forget. These visuals may seem rather rudimentary at first, but it's how they stack all of these elements on top of one another where the complexity from the simplicity shines. Its unique look and feel is why the series has remained timeless to this day, circumventing all of their limitations and turning it into their strength. That's the power of simplicity, and something that would usher in a new standard for visual novels and arguably gaming as a whole. Once again, if you want a true deep dive into all of this, New Frame Plus's video does an excellent job unpacking everything, so please check it out. However, visuals are only one element of this game. In fact, there's another one of our 5 key senses that they use to their advantage. Music and sound is often considered to be the universal language of the world. The ability to convey any feeling or emotion through several auditory functions is such a powerful tool that, if done right, can orchestrate an entire story on its own. And the Ace Attorney team knew this, and with their limited resources, what's more effective at making the experience feel grander without adding significantly more than creating some incredible fun music. And so, composers Masakazu Sugimori and later Noriyuki Iwadare crafted the now iconic Ace Attorney themes. Your pursuit themes, objections, character themes. Yes, even the blue.
Jacqueline was. Oh no. Echo. Jacqueline. I drive car to the Apart from Taurus, they're so evil.